information center ewo achim esam
nyame ne hene information center wachim ofosukrom
ena nyame asam information center wo achim kroba se eye nida so ne awurade
Prince of Peace ewo strasi
Peace Information Center wo kokobe
eno sewa information center ewo achim anyina se
information center wachim achiase
keka no krobo eye adom
mantemu abapa information center goka
sumnyame information center eye chirimenken nyankoma ase eye nanapia information center da kingdom come a police level asioko jama no bono mantemu eye duaba information center
Abanasemai Information Center watchem abanase afa Ghana de somamba nanu reya de more vim etiesi mu akasiebo de mutu chen wa Enanwa da 2020 na Ghana fo kokromotie kwadi ahim won krata so koyi bra sebedwafiefo ene mampani na awiekire no na his excellence na nado danko akufo ado na awinie enu to no na te Ghana benja so sese ya wototo nyoma se mampani na eni dis amanyoko na kaye so hwetwira kebeka se wonom ene to so mienu na beye 2021 asase mfimfi baabi ena Ghana mampani dada John Dramani Mahama yes Ghana fo kire doma no enu ntin wo kwoto abo na we die ye nanse nto aba woko na wo hyase firi soro no a enene ebeto dwase wo hyase nso ewo poye mantam na to no ne fra to so miansa wade ato so ntia poye mantam ha ena edi kan ewia wakwa western region wakwa mfifi mantam owia wakwa volta region yoti mantam no mo na ena Ghana mampani dada John Dramani Mahama shane nto abo na se ewo epoye mantam da John Dramani Mahama bakasa no national chairman edema eni dis yamanyoko no elder fosu ampofo na wojina simpie ni apaso waje mike ekasaye no anu di kan kasa no woba mane wo chem se wonu ba poe mantam wanya bone san se Ghana fo ya de papa kire ni so edi ama eni dis yamanyoko no anu nti nenei wo mo apeja wo mo ka anante afa nsu ahudro mu anatempenten kwa abedu epoe mantam so mo ba ya wo mo ma ne bone na embom eye nase mu a na national chairman de ma eni dis yamanyoko elder fosu ampofo eto ne kasa so no wo ba ma ne wo chem se de entia wonom ene eye esumko ahudro na ahia ne se afimpinu ne aduro no abato ne mo no wo mo taye hunu se esumko ahudro mozramimfo nyina kafo sumu enu nti no mo ne asofo akwakohia wo se wo mo nto aba wo mo kwa nyina ye nanse nto abo ne tirimu po nyina da ne se wo mbeda Ghana fo ase won pempeso a wonom edi NDC fo abedro.
It is good for us to thank God for his blessings and his compassion and his mercy for even how far he has brought us. Because several people are saying that, why are you going around thanking people when you have lost an election? We believe that it is a temporary setback because God is using it as a stepping stone for the future, for his excellency and the earth. So we have embarked on a series of regional thank you tours. And one of the things that we have never forgotten to do is to meet the men of God in every region that we go. You prayed for the peace of this country. Today is the 10th for Eastern region. This is about for the thank you tour which his excellency has embarked upon. And we always know that the Eastern region is a special region because it is the land for the wise men. Because the wise men who predicted the birth of Jesus came from the East. So the purpose of our visitation is to say a big thank you to you and to thank God for what he has done and for how far he has brought us.
Enti adia na Daniel anya ache mafia fo biam na mbom we dia ya say 3 wise men no wo di kan hu nsanchane wa poye mantam ntina poye mantam chese ye ya dwene mu do papa nipa wote ne nka ye national chairman edema ani DC amanyokuo no elder ofosu ampofo nti wo hwe de ka said mabote preaching kakra wo mu a Ghana mampani dada John Dramani Mahama no ene ekoto ne so aba 2020 ni mo afa waje mike ro send ofosu ampofo akasa wie dia ene ne atone line so enti won kasa no wo sha se COVID-19 yade ko de ha adwin ye papa enti wo sra Ghana for se vaccination ya aba ya wampane no Ghana for bia bom to pampers ni brazier ya wa mo ade ye ntio anyum na siso amo se wo monte hwe wo monte dia kwose wo sere wo mo ada se obi afa ne ho enhyapane wo ni masan se ne nyankufu bia yade ne pempen so amo ye kakabensam se yan wa yan wo no yade ne so wo mo pa chi nyankopon ko anka de bi koe wo se ya bi kurampo de bi koe na ba ko bia eka aketekete nyapane no wanyan na nka de ne ko no se ewi akire wo hu se pane ne ye no eni afa no na ye asempa tre ka che Ghana for se wo mo hwankwa wo pane no enu to osrada se yade kodie wo COVID-19 na ehu o enu to waye ebra so se wo vaccine bia hwe ne wo.
If you are vaccinated, your chances of falling severely ill or die are less than if you are not vaccinated. I've lost many friends to COVID, and there are some of them who, when I went and took it, after the president took it, I was asked as the leader of opposition to also come and take it. And one of them particularly called me and said, I shouldn't go. I said, but the president has taken it. He said, no, the president's own was water. And that means they are going to inject me with the correct thing. And if they inject me, it will harm me. I didn't listen to him and I went and I took the injection. He barely survived, you know. He got COVID about 2 months ago and he was admitted at the International Maritime Hospital. And he barely survived. He was on oxygen for more than a week. And finally when he came out, I called to find out how he was. And he's now the chief advocate for vaccination. He's vaccinated his whole family. And he's advocating that everybody should go and take the vaccine because he has gone and experienced it and come. But there are many others who God was not so kind to, and it was time, so God called them. I have other friends too who have died because they were not vaccinated. So we urge you to continue to play your role as leaders of the flock, to continue to educate all our brethren to not only follow the COVID protocols but to get vaccinated as soon as possible.
Nipa wotini nkai aye Ghana mampeni Dada John Dramani Mahama
na owie no to ne kasa so se nya no nko anu achi afi ontinsi wa manyosemu enu ne adwuma yedidie enu anenam so men na obegi din John Dramani Mahama akoda kura bo ndimpe no atene nka amanyosem na ose amanyosem no kane mampeni owura John Dramani Mahama kuro ya kyerese abra no tie dwaso sedi no si danda nuama no akono keke na asa akoda edi kosua so man so mfa nkomo obi osom ye pan sanse tofo mpe bebo no eni nti osom ye pan na so kyerese ene nanado dangwa gufu ado chebia brantie na mamuo no ye hunsu kura eno no owura John Dramani Mahama se so hwe NP pamonyo koja won ma twamfinsha makoma kunum wonum gusu akọ ombetwa mfie wotwe na enum pempo no ose sikasem ayebisi basa enkoye anamso ama ohyew abeto mabunu dodo na so na owura John Dramani Mahama kyerese se amamuo ne tutuye ne sikasem tutuye enkoye a abribia na mabunu ne nampe na ohyew gina wonum tirimu eno nti so bi bekom pembo so mu ye ohyew ni pie ezanza ponchane se nto enso ta ne cha bonzo je wo ezanza ta na che eno nti so ohyew ni gina wonum tirimu chepe afi obi na ma bete na ezembabunu we ya sei obeti esa akoda we ya sei obeti esa npa simasi akoye sei anano ada prade obi ashada fa atwede afo akogina kubesuro achechira amade ne kwa hyem ene waji ne nafra atwede no so wakunu hu mekumu enen nanse yawre ne ADBC hospitals ne ADBC adwade bia ene nneama do bebre ni na yabosia ni na so eyeka ne wonum dwuridi agu onum odi nsem woni na tudwa wa bra okoshia local council of churches ewa poemantemu okuforudia ene odi wetu.
If the economy is going well, it eases that pressure on you. But when it's not going well and there's hardship in the land, it increases that pressure on you. And I'm sure that all of you are feeling the pressure in your churches. The collection has gone down. Meanwhile, the demands have gone up. And so it's all in our interest that government will govern well so that the economy will do well, so that people will prosper and be able to live good lives. And so we must also take an interest in what is happening materially in Ghana. Our debt burden is going astronomically, faster than it's ever gone in the history of Ghana. I left government with the debt from Nkrumah's time till I left government, 120 billion cedis. Today, the debt is almost 374 billion in just 4 years plus, and it is becoming unsustainable. Today, if you take total revenue, that is all our taxes and all the revenue government gets, after they take out wages and salaries and compensation, and they take out interest to pay our debt burden, there's no money left. So every money that we use for goods and services or capital expenditure, including infrastructure development, is money that we have to borrow, and it's not a very pleasant situation to be in. And so we should advert our minds to the management of the economy too. Today the forex is going up. Yesterday when I looked, it was 6.1, and it just keeps appreciating, and once it appreciates, it affects everything else, because there are many things that we have to import.
And again, I was saying bonipo AKAN 374 billion 374 billion eno owura John Dramani Mahama sisi Ghana ye de ye da hono mu na owie no se omowura mu ahomasuam kakra o se ahomasua o mampani na na dodan kwa Akufo Dubai ye wa ba ye ntoaso school ne kwa na o se sa ntoaso school no abaye ne kwa no amanko da no dodo na obi wonu mahwe na nimpa hwe ne bobre hwe ne ya bia utum sa akwa me body se nko me carpenter anome telani anasimstress boze free SHS inti no akwakofa forms onya chobos nya gariba ko ene no nari na hwitiripe no na ose no okwaduru ono oba ne nam saa e de adan ne ba bi obenya bi adi ose ya masa nkwadan na doso papa onto aso school mu na do no ma doso school mu nti amadwuma nso aye den papa e wokrum eno nam soma owura John Dramani Mahama se osra da we de na no osra wada ensa dansa yem kutojogu fom ose nka be ya ankran to aso school nso fuo ni hwe ono mo na nka ye bibi fo won se de be ya wonom so benya asuafo ni bi ama school na tumi agina brane na bibia atutum.
As somebody said, we don't eat statistics, and that what matters is the prices in the market. Today, the same person says it's not about the prices in the market. We should look at the statistics. Inflation is only 11%. This is some of the hypocrisy we have in this country, that we do comparisons that really do not hold any water. But I think that management of the economy is something we need to look at. One of the major issues we have is youth unemployment. We've done free SHS. Hundreds of thousands of young people are leaving SHS every year, and yet we're not creating enough jobs to absorb them. Every year, our tertiary institutions, training colleges of education, technical universities, they're producing almost 100,000 graduates every year, and there's no space to employ them because the private sector is not being able to grow. The private sector is burdened with taxes, and so even if you haven't done business, they still come and say pay your tax, and sometimes the tax assessment is more than your total the value of your business, and so business people are complaining. Everybody is complaining. The whole public service is less than 800,000 people. Meanwhile, our population is 30-point-something million people. And so if the whole public service is 800,000 people and below, where are we going to find space for 100,000 people coming out of school every year? Unless the private sector grows and absorbs them. And so we have a lot of work to do. We are prepared to play our part.
Eni amuti ye ya papa ya. Emri bi atwam na yo mampani di mo man kronkron Ghana. Na ene omanfo busan se akra enyanya bedi biema ena oboni chaze de kol minyamedi kane mampani owura John Dramani Mahama
Jenko yanim ewenu renonsia AKAN KASEIBO emo na wocha wadwin 0594 841044 0594 841044 yemto aso wakasebo ni mo majority leader ya wono ewo Ghana mna shebe dwefie ni monyafo se che mesabonso wadi atudwa woche se LGBTQ 0244 no yesi ya baba ye bele dia ma wamu a womu dwumadie ne yentimi endi Ghana ha anaso obi ya lesbo ba anaso obi ye gay bo ba wontimi operate wontimi nkwafa na nyanko ba asa me kwa akwa nti asofo mehira so mfa mame osesa be na ye be paase no eye be o papa pa na nti no wasem na se bedwafiefo nyina ka wo mutipam ho na madwen kokrom wo no mo hwese sa be no motimi edo ma ho ade atachire na ya paase ewo mra so bedwafie onibonyafo se che mensabonso eto ne kasa aso no waba ma ne wo chem se wo hwe ho keka ya wo mna sebadwafie wo hwe minority ne majority dom kuma ne kese de nyina wo ma ho keka wo sa be oni ho a ono de wo nimu da se bia obi be sha ase akase o me de mempre so ono de wo hunu se obia adwen aye ba kwon be so mo hwe na yenya sa anti LGBTQ+ bill no na yetumi tu sa de we ase deku from my Ghana in show ene ni zigizagam na woto ne kasa so na wo ba ma ne a wo kire mu se sa de we na kasa no Ghana ha se anka ya mamre ho enu nti no obia ne won mo betimi akasa me pene so sense ono sei ono woni manyafo se chemensa bonsu ba bia wo fure ene ntete ya wono wo mu no sa LGBT trumutu ene tafribomski ne de enya de obepene so da.
It's not majority versus minority who passes a matter for parliament. Now, let me at the very outset indicate that members of parliament are representatives of the people. As the citizens of this country should rest assured that parliament would not turn our backs on the issues contained that is in this bill before us. Are matters that all of us not sure that any member of parliament would be against the principle of this bill. No member would be against this. I think it's the smithing of it. How do we attain the results that we all want? So I guess, as I said, when we come to the bridge, we certainly will be able to cross it. Where there is a will, there is always a way. Because I'm African, Ghanaian, Ashanti, the Kwabriman, and I have my own father, my own upbringing, right? So that one is shaped by my traditional upbringing. As I've said, along the line, Christian as I am, and I was born into Assembly School. So my faith also impacts on my upbringing. We have own concepts of what is right and what is wrong. I don't know of any ethnic group in this country that will applaud this.
Wokwa Ghana mra sebedwafia nipa wotene kai na ye edom kese ba no dafo eyo monyafo sei chei mensan bonsu na essence LGBTQ 024410 fo ya semi gentre hanti wasan so to aso bia ma na wo ba ma ne wo chem se papa bi ni nam tentenoa ya wo keka se bi no ye ba pass bi no ba pass hwan o se PM wa Ghana mra sebedwafia right honorable Aban Bagbin ene nam no keka se obe pass bill no se wo ka kira Bagbin se ade no ono kura no onyam na sebedwani Bagbin eye speaker of parliament onyam na sebedwani nti ono watimi pass bill bia enu nti se ne wo pre ne ho aka se ya be pass no onya abotre kakra essence ade no ekoba sedan a business committee ya wo Ghana mra sebedwafie ene betoato adwene ahodoro afa sade we ho ansa kro na mra sebedwafie fo de nyina ka se okay bill na ya papa ya hu se we ni na wo bill ne mo a ya hwe ne ya pass a ebebo ma LGBT no ya tunase anu nti speaker of parliament on the on nam keka se o ya be pass ya ma mo kwan da no nja se wode na no keka kasa nsem no sanse tumi no akasa ehemra sebedwafiefo no ensem.
The speaker was even saying that the bill is going to be passed, if I heard right. But I have a little challenge with that. Technically, the speaker is not a member of parliament. But the speaker cannot omit parliament. The speaker can make a referral to parliament, which will be programmed by the business committee for consideration. But the speaker, I find it difficult if you have a speaker who would, in spite of his own antecedents as a former member of parliament, to say that the parliament is going to pass the bill. It's a bit of a difficulty, unless I didn't hear well. But if I heard well, that parliament is going to pass it, that would present some challenge. I'm not saying parliament is not going to pass it, but the speaker should not make a predetermination for the house, because he's not a member of parliament, and this is the business of parliament. Elsewhere, in many jurisdictions, speakers are members of parliament, right? And some speakers are even majority leaders. Don't forget, in some jurisdictions, the speakers are majority leaders, and they double up as the speakers. Here, in the wisdom of the crafters of the constitution, they elected not to have the speaker as a member of parliament. So I pray that the speaker would exercise some discretion in these matters.
Wotene kai ayedom kese wamwa Ghana mra sebedafie danu ni onmonyamfo sei chei mensa bonsu
trumutu ani awawo yedasu ginam na anonam so ama communications team de ma NPP amonyeko no nipa baako owura Ernest Kumi o chese enya de Ghana for already say trumutu ni awawo ye be so Ghana na o se nke ye na nke anya proper human sexual right and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021 no campaign for jituma nka beboa pa esanse anka anya obi koya wa na tumutu ana okobiane hwe nyame anim din obozimati kofiafia tetantan na okose kwabrane yiminu fufuri onomo na nya tatratra ana se bi obako osiyi ofamni firi na fa otuatua onomo mame ana boze be mako osimomodian metunu esusadodo munya na nya bebri esansam de kwakoje toajiska sanyo wedina yade bia ni nan yaka bumatu din se LGBTQ+1 ne na se fodina enu na page say sankeji tuma nka bebu sanse sa bill no emu ana nka be dia dance trodo say so bi kodi dwuma bi say ya emnan ma kwanse efa no nkoto afiase finsha makom yensa ene akire ntinka ye ya enka no so betire o chirechire mu kika nsem bebri okesa no ana nsem jofo ya che owura na nsem ni bi egu amaso na yentie no.
My party is not for the legalization of the LGBTI. And I'm saying the president is also not for it. But I'm saying that my party is for the existing laws dealing with these issues and for how society is handling it already. The bill before Parliament, some persons have expressed certain human rights concerns in there. And for me, what is right is for all of us to debate it as to whether all those clauses and provisions in there are inhumane or going to be inimical to society. It's a legitimate and cautious advice that people are throwing in there. And it is up to us to debate it and see what can be taken out, what should be amended. I do not think, as an individual, that the whole bill should be thrown out. But those concerns that people have articulated could be looked at. People should come out with their alternative views. The amendment that's supposed to be made to those provisions are things that we could look at. Because I do not think that the decision of everybody is that we should go and adopt this and accept it as a law without necessarily reviewing it. Other than that, the law would not have, even the lawmaking process would not have provided an option for we society to submit memos and memorandums and other opinions for the legislature to consider in the enactment of the law.
Penia kasa ye eka enkutaodie tim no adema NPP amanyokonu owura Ernest Kumi eno achi na nso me ejina so suma yaman boni amasafo akwamonten ekobusa Ghana phobia wonmo to aba ene wonmo nto aba bi se anyembia tumutu ene awawo be no yagituma ye ananye
wenye emma bebere won akofo mnyoko be man ma fa ne to de se anya fru onje ne enye ka menko ade a nka munji ntum na ne ge no mo ye no etuo ntwa na etia mra bible kra etia oyo oba be wale oba be ma be wale oba ade on be se Ghana esite se Solom and Gomorrah se na omunji ntum efi se biase ayewe e wo se oba ware be ma na mwetimi awo ene mremu ide oba akwakoware oba ba be na mo be wo bible kra so aka se into no another also Jim Rani to can say omunyinsu we say we ask na Bible crack say ye woni ase no the sample anu yan they see unyonko ba be wale wo be ma so ko wale nyonko be ma nipa ko wale abo a we ask na asa na ese na ese sisi ana esi eno a ene yewo mu ese ka men ko ande ankara na nyinsu
ewie ene a wuti ye Ghana fo bi adwenche de fatumutu ene awawo
ye free Solom and Gomorrah na yanko yanu KASEIBO no emu LGBT di asamba Ghana ha o anisha wonom so wan franteman ele wo ma no dam yasem wo kanya no se mna shebedwafiefo e wo afifi mantemu no mo bom kwakwase LGBTQ210+0299 for yasemi shana nesu Central Region one mo ma MPs no shan wo bia akwakasa no de ompre ko tintin e wo Ghana bra shebedwafie ho e wo mu se wonom akọ break de ene wo mu dia for fida any holiday no ewa pa vacation wa anu nti wo mo se so mo MP se 150 mantemo enya resume pedo mo kopie mo Ghana mra se bedefie ni ade sa anti LGBTQ bill no ebeto no mo a wo mo nya tantan no mo sensa ne se gwa esa se trumu aneta fribomski de enya de wamba preso na wo mo ni yamani boni ohene ba nya kwame ades twetwe nkomo na wo mo ba ma ne o mo chem se ebra so se empanifo ahudro gu Ghana bra se badwafie no saade wei eni kwakra so mo twe ho dawere ekeka se be de mempre so we be ka se mempre so da bi eni kwakra so mo yade wei ho eka ne se debate kase kra enwa ne so mo nyade be no beto no maka ye Aye, na ya passing say trum na afei sa trumu ne tafribomski jubedie no ya bonigala we ahon na to baabi ade hye ene ohene ba kwam ya da se twetwe nkomo wo finfin mantam wo no sei enomode to dwa
Menda wasi no parasami de MMA ka kire mrehye begwafo no nyina de dama emla na waze bada oba nwal ben oba ne benyinu sun wal benyinin mu wanji ntum nde wanji ntum ochina osande Ghana manen dama azi bi nyim na penyin bi aso aba pe no ho asem wa ajoza atumin asama atun MPP ala nyi ho mo wodo ogitum a constituency ya botu eti ho nti ya ka kire ho ne de nya sika nti no oba mama ye man oba ye ayeye nti ho sika na they been na what they bad ho a won hu de nyame oye moria iyi bi na waye ma nyame tua ho ne ka mo nam do ma lot ne dance ni su
parliament fo bi obeja tum ya yankopon tua ne ka na afi lawyer bi anso a obeja tum no so no na kufado onjela license infinity lawyer bi a obeja tum onjela license infinity
seminar mba won waro wo ho na mbi so waro ho de yanji ntum kra ye Ghana for de yanji ntum sande ye mbra no nche de na ye coach ananka sample ye be de be demonstration ke security aban
enti Bakwamba demonstrate hayo eni ade we de mpanifo nya ne ntam no mo mpaase so we de nya asem tintin bia nya kasa tintin se toponko omo no mo paase ne ten na fe Ghana fo ehonyo mo eni awutie ye ya de hye won mo mfantaman eno ewo mfimfi mantem omo ne amane boni ohene ba Kwame Ades na twetwe nkomo yi
na ya da su gina mfimfi mantem mu ena na do dango gufo do yebeto bo afimpiru ni dusia okokika nsem bi eye gu akanisim na ansa na no me ka cho se kia sanso se me cho se anwumre yi sa anye mbia wasidan ana wo office me se uko office bi pa office bi aban offices bi na uko angran offices bi a uko tusika kra man so mfendi bi ma kra na yo ya tumi drone mudi hwa koye nim di tumi ka se ti akwe pa akunya kro tisi kra onyem bukata de me pa cho Sesia ni bia ba Ghana fo sika wa edinti obi agiska ohwe ni ye papa sada be ya be mu adwuma ho ate na adwuma ya kono nti se oye penin bi ya wo oye office adwuma bo modin atie na tie ni ye se K Asenso Limited e de akonya bi aba eye office chair office use office workers mo na ye mo dia muntobi na akonya no efe akono ne buonso eda form ene sanso ye papa na nini na chino eye akonya bi eye ultra modern one so utim na so bra utumi mia bibi wo so kwen na wadem ti sempa utumi twa 360 de opa bia utumi ye wakonya ne mu tobi na beboawo na eyakonya bi so awotena mu yadwuma all day kura wonte bre waposo bi anya wo ya ti ukofi utumi so bodwuma kama obesore si one time na wasan ba adwuma bomoden na tie ne yem afi otonton bookshelf any tables are tron fefa kona kono ene empay modern ya o de mattress to so na da so de obe wo so bia no kuchin K Asenso Limited na kachi ebi obi woda kede akwati across akwati krum na se ebi hwan ne din so ni K Asenso be kasa eni diem tie ni number ne frɛ no eye 0244 568 014 0244 568 014 ena afi 0243 127668 0243 127668 se untumi nkonkran circle adabraka ana kanehia na wafre no de opa bia ode beba onkoboka bebre bia na akonyamba ekuo bi padwumafo ne omo yadwuma wo mo po bi ye from say yi mobile bank si epe mobile banka ana susu collector tibomodia susu collector sika obenya gubotom nyisika ketwa de hiane so de Sunday special kudom ne ko tompa bo ase edin owie ube diska dia ekwo we su de wo mo papa enu nti bomodia natural application letter omo odan kwantanum achim dan kwantanum ehonum na sai ekuiwo wonum gyomo na so papa omo ye credible ti frɛ 0244 950522 0244 950522 mpacha akwada no wawie sku abafi na mane ntena fie mane nkɔ gigi sika no nya bi ntwadua na asa kakra wudi no obesa age frɛ 0244 950522 ena afi 0209 372 235 0209 372 235 na woni ekoyi enkasa abra wayo letter ready emna shebedwane de ma de hye wo twifu atimokwa abeton peso aso e wo mfimfi mantemu onimnyafo David TD Vondi obisa mampani na nado dangwa kufado se wa fimpinu ne aduonemu dunsiamu 2016 ye beto aba okai pa woni na da o se na nado gina simpie ni apaso tuminya kukudo hwe Ghana fo pempim anim kaje wonom se one district one factory one million per constituency na se envisionum mansini bia benya be $5 million enye sika ketwa ana mfinsha minu na se okabuma $2 million enye sika ketwa na se afi bia $1 million beba enu no wure say ohwe ni important a one district one factory one D1 F ohun bi enu nte obusana nado ene na ban anamonsini twifu atimokwa onimnyafo Robert Ajimanyantechi obisa wonom so mo de wo hemfa ena biem omo $1 million per constituency afibia no enu nso wo hemfa enu nyema odro bi o shebo one district one factory one village one dam enu nso wo hemfa wonom nya bio ntomu bisa nanado no krakra no se we na dia dance yesa nanado dango gufado wa sheda tu mfuturo pan gu Ghana fo ni wa bro shebo gu manfo asuma ne yomdoko te se ewo enu nti omanfo nhwe nanado ye pan zanso ne na MPP no wonom hu papa ensema pani ka ye yentie bi
Ajimanyantechi asam ne yaka MPP aban nankasa asam ne yenhwese one district one factory no twifatima kwa yede wa he yenhwese one village one dam twifatima kwa yede wa he $1 million every year per constituency echerese menewo kase no enka every year 5 years in ye womi enka ye wo $5 million woni minisika do aya 300 and over billion old cedis minu yanka de ne betimi de aye wo twifatima kwa memo eni ho ayan amambo na nkoyie into de koso adisi baako a na wo mpese obeka nokre e amambo no na nkoyie menua enti development de bi ni ho ana we hu bia na waka akere banche ye bedi kura no nso yen wakosi den sese se ye koto banche no ayen fangogum say ye warehouse ohene mami anya serious amambo ya serious issues ya change on Dramani Mahama no ababa ye ni ye
ninna chi no se se de empenfo ka asembi ana se de bible kraka se nyame eye alpha and omega na je se odi ba ya se tiremu ade wa hye se bia wawiye ose na nado ene ndisi no ewo twufo atimokwa no wo mo ahye se no mo wiye nso beba enu nti agoye se no ya se wo fasi na ntikuru wa mia eti umia nso a osu ntina ne mia no nkam obi atekura nya hwe ti ose ni nnachi no aka na won ma wiye ya ba no o ka cha assembly members ni na sa ba na won makoto ama na wie no omo hwe no mni onumnyamfo Robert Ajiman nyante chinkambo masumdwemu na mbadwuma no nya na fam de bia kosise na nado beko na NDC amanyoko no aba
Assembly member ho bia no eni agima na ntehye atena ha 4 years woni mini modembo enim de obetimi aye eni de awontimi nye assembly member bia ni ho a onni magima nyantechi sanka obi ni magima nyantechi a mimom na minim ne papa every time me de mebaba ye mrahye bedwani wan ye pepepe enyandru wa ye po nti wo mo nim no eni madwuma obetimi aye wo mo mfa o madwene no mo nya santi asianto aba no nti me no me mpese me kire o mo se monya ne sen ana monya ne sen na mo masema maka ne se akofo ado no ahani nipa no ayi no na memetu yakoka kira akofo ado se mema ne moni din ana se mintimi nti wo mo anso mfa o madwene nyansa ne nti asianto aba no na mo ma yasomdwe nko na mehia me da metu aba no ma asomdwe se ya batui ya to awie asomdwe ntina twofotima kwamam eno pa na metimi aka
adishima mani amuti ye ayemrahye bedwane de ma de hye wotwufu atimokwa abeton beso aso ewo mfimfi mantemu onumnyamfo David TD Vondi
Jenko yenim wakasiebo no emwanansa na ebeto aso no na heba mes na American for the amakwade kwapebenom kokwa asisi utumpo anu ejura firi wa cholesterol amu wafu aye pompom fe 6 pasi wa pra prega unya bi so wafu kakra ka da benda na benya ka 6 packs kwana kope na heba mex ni benom ebetimi atwetwe srade ni nyira firi wo Westpens apia maya ni nya adwuma mo number enti wuntimi mpra wa ba ne ho ya kwa na kope bitro boost immune system so aka ho na fever mix and also malaria when ma to ntime de ohona mina ya fever so immune system no so say weaker kwana kope bi etonom na wo pe bi eto wankran akọ baseline pharmacy Kenswalk herbal shop Kingdom herbal Achem Achiase Kwana Herbal Ventures, Gracewood Chemical Shop, Brother Mike Chemical Shop, Mary Morgan Chemical Shop, Achem Dako Albiam Wafo Pharmacy, Ochiniba Chemical, Kennedy Chemical, All Greens Pharmacy, Wafaya Drugstore, Frenan Base Open Doso Pomo to Anan Chiremu Binabia Wopa. Fre 0244-774-206 0244-774-206 and 0509 417806 0509 417806 na won no maduro na wie no na wo pe wodabrem enti wo pe ba bia na adwo ho afele comfortable eya Bimpama Plaza Hotel B Plaza Hotel he na mekan fo ediama unya wura ho no wa kitchen ho restaurant ho ba ho aduane type bia wo pe bia benya bia di ensa bia wo pa no mo benya bi anom ne sope atwini mi na na patutu to breakfast ya fruit salad kan wo bie unya bo wura mo dem ho a queen size bed orthopedic na ma wakwaba condition wadan bia wom edan bia mu edan ba kwa kitchen won benya self container kitchen won benya fridge sim TV sim bibia wom set enipa 30 aduasa na mpe bia conference kuma bia benya dan wu nyunyunyunyu ya projector ebomo 24-hour security service by bon SMDH na naso pinti saka pinti bia me park o card oh forget it na wo mechira kwan eni udu achimodan so hwe nkwantanum unya du nkwantanum as Church of Pentecost asafo na wahe ugina Pentecost nkwantanum branch na utu wani a B Plaza Hotel na wo ho no frɛ na busa so me beda wa homachi anadwi 2 days mo beje mahe eya 0249 855396 0249 855396 ana 0243 118500 0243 118500 B Plaza Hotel especially made for holiday makers from abroad and afar. King of Grace Church, King of Grace Chapel, yeah, what achema wabo. One of the crusade kakraka eba. Na when abakoso e wanamase. Anamase car station when a Jumedi no koso. Etika nesa no se wo kwa so bia Pentecost Presby. Fa hu ewuram na obafri wafi na oh fa hu die aya wodia na wabra bona sesa na honhom fam ne honam fam na why changeable asesa enu to dwumadie no ekoso ye enumre no nsia kosi enumre no kono 6pm to 6pm ana dwumadie no ekoso anu ntino fa ho hyembi nyambo a wokyena ana dwumadie no ekoso afei ya to akasebo no eso. A driver for one ewo mankasiem ne mfante my municipality ye no ewo fifi mantem so na wano dem yo asem mo Kenya no say His Excellency na nado danko akufo de betra so e da bia da fuwa abo ahria na ehuri say kwam sa ponche wahu eka ne say banche wahuri bokwobo ha na wahuri akwobo ha na wahuri akwobo banche ya no opa die wo say one man some more Kenya na say fuwa abo no hura na ehuri say kwam no nto mo sere say His Excellency na nado danko akufo do so ye show boy dia and he wanted to embra from say hwi na a driver for so ho nto wonam omonya henkan news respondent ya correspondent ya wono ewo fifi mantebo hene ba kwa mi ada se twetwe nkomo ene mo mo che say sanfu we ya tutututu mu say hwi na so emendei wo wutwi kanu se kwabra ne teka front taxi trotron so no fa segisikali na kwashefu wam enu nto mo sra se abanhwe onya bibi mfa wesanse ne ya kasei broken homes achi wo mo fie nyina papa se tututu obei se wa ma ni sika mo na ta so anya nkwa de wa kwa pe wa fa ma wa tafre ani a wo jao enu nto mo sra se so mo fie be ya akono aye dede a eni adusho bo antetetete ne nyoma so ebi mu san so de to aso bia mo no mo chese mo nkwa da school fees mpo wamunya sika no mde atua
masa pocho petrol de no ba yezin ye kwadwa yen sika ye ba kwadwa ne adwa ya da to petrol ma san ye na ma ne sika sam size na ma won full car wonya hwe abewunyem ma yezin tie sa ban le ye petrol sam no obo hwe mabɔ kakra ma nyama kwe ya me ho da abafu iko edwa ko fiompo ka cha wile nyesika wasebwa za ka plamba nso ne edwa na yede na yiya mo ntia sa ba le petrol sa me no obukufu ma me kaka me ye ho ato he etuma afo ka me ye kwa ye bibi ezi
sese ya brabo ye yire no mpo oje aware because ska chop money ya yin sese ye nyi bio ntema ha ye spare parts ne bo akosoro so ka ne se ya okogina wa unye sika kura na wada top spare part na wo ka na aka tie basira ban wo hu ye mobo na ontiti no maso mai na ne manko ye mai
petrol ne yatwa ye bopon na ye ba ye adwuma wi na se bia motor petrol bia yang skada da ne mu bia ba ye 1.5 mo pon na meto mo 1.5 ne sika kitu bi na ka o mu sem me de ye hwe onye ntabri bia na ye kwa adwuma na ye sika na ka no so se so a afi ye sika mpo na ye da ye ne ye
aye sra ban se obohu ye mobo na watu na wa ma petrol ne bu no abafom be da bia 25 bia na kada leto fa ne musu a na chere osura na ye ko tie sra ban ohu ye mobo
ade ya wo wiase pansa wo ya adwuma na unya usika especially o ma moto ade no se wo onim sa ade me ton to so a me ton kai mi twi na so unya sika no yanka santi ado show boy kwa wamom wo nipa wote wam kan ya shankafo a wonom ewo mfimfi mantam no emu
Ghana mna hye fiefo dodo na kwa se obi okoyi ni ti e wo baba ondi ni sawo ni nchen baba ondi ni sawo ni ukoyi uti a oti wonom na odi ni sawo hwenhwa hono no saa ne sawo so kaka nkan ukoka so mpenipa ana obno oni mpozi akwodi mpenipa kura oye kwakwa ni nkusi gbodo ntidan oye fiambofo ntidan timi kenzo onsawo kaka nkan okoka na yasem eno anam so ama madina mna hye bedwani onumnyafo Francis Xavier Sosu ose anu de obeka ni pain onka ni pain phone se anu de so ka so penipo on penipo enfa no ho ene se won mu patem won mo ne mpeso aso o chese be nefu amakuma kunum ni so obowrem ewo Oyarefa Green Hills a timemfo won mo ni nsu ato ama yira ba won mu fie fi nefu amakuma kunum ni enzo ni tumi ma fom ni nada eye ntotoye a engineer setete mpotem won mo ene Ghana no msempenufo bi tibonkosoфo ye nhwe han amade we koso afi bia na nso won mo nya ho hwe enam so amamna hye bidani kyerese wo October bosom ne de toso dun wotwe one ne timamfo ne bi ne mabunu ne bi saa bro no so de eja wadwo ehon mo nko na so yo shankani na do ka atwam ne setimam ni yamfom so ne se ka na pem na no mu na asa ka bu mabro madina no ode akoso hwe o so mu na be ka bom na won ma yo ye kire pa de ano den ya ehye e de akọ Adenta Divisional Police Command na won mo de akwa champion Ford kansema gu won ma so mi say empotem won mo esuesu awodro yi fa nkrofo no etete won mo pa yesi ade ebu won ma efe ni drain say drain ni wan nya ontutue ye nso tope nsu yire beba ose anu nso won mo hwepa no mo nya nsiesie onumnyafo Francis kire say onko yem na hyebejo ni obetro no mo na de omanfo beka no obebu agu na so achi sam de mbedi bia ko eno nti de besi bia mfa ma ose de bida onye san no won mo na beka mbom no ma yesa o ye kire no.
I filed an urgent question in respect of the lack of planning. I filed an urgent question in respect of all the roads in Medina, and actually the Mensa Amrehia roads. There's an urgent question on that. There's an urgent question on roads in Sakura, and there's an urgent question on the abandoned project in Medina. In fact, there's an urgent question even on the hospital project that has been abandoned, because when you look at the Kekele hospital, it's just left with something maybe less than 10 or 15% of work, and the entire hospital will be ready. And this Kekele hospital services over 50,000 people annually, and yet it seems that nothing is working in Medina. I cannot be an MP of an area that would not work. If it is not working, I will make it work. And that is why I am leading my people to demand from the right quarters our own fair share of national development. And this letter, I address it to the divisional commander of the Adenta Division Command. And the letter is so clear that we are giving them 5 days notice. For next week, Monday, under my own leadership, the chiefs, the elders, the youth organizations and the youth leaders, transport associations, resident associations, everyone who has suffered for using those stretch, we are calling on all of them to come out so that we can use that last tool, which is a tool in a democracy, to freely express our anger to the state and to the government and to the people who are custodians of our money and who have given this roads to contract and have refused to either pay the people for the contractors to come or have just turned their deaf ear to the plight in Medina.
Eni amuti ye eye Madina La Paz Madina La Paz Ufrika so akọ Madina sa na pa no won na hyebedwani onumnyafo Francis Xavier Sosu na nanusi ya papape enam na hyebedwani de ma de hyewo nkwantanan onumnyafo owura yire Jennifer Dede Ajaben enso to so say em na hyebedwani de nke hu ye anya onpeso so won mu hia school akwan ana dan awdo be bebo ama omutimam ana omasetena ye de no na nka wona hyebedwani wo de wa ben wo se de si wrem ti se ginamo a openam awe no hwiahwia saa broni be ka so lobin ke hu na nka wo de ano no na de ba ne se na afidie waba bontin ebeji ayirim gidigidi sane mo be ka makoye oje kire ewo mpuntudwuma ho ewo mpeso aso ose ne won papa maami kasa ne achi bi gwa maso okan bebre.
It's very laughable. Respectfully, we all know how members of parliament play a key role in not being their colleagues to bring development. And you come in, we cannot boast of 1 meter drain from you and your easy way out of this is demonstration. It's very unfortunate. We need him to do better than that. When you stand on platforms to make all the noise that when you go to parliament, you do this for the people. And you do a quick U-turn to come and tell us that you are a lawmaker and you are not a development agent. Sorry, it's laughable. The colleague members of parliament are getting asphalted roads and they are standing on them to supervise work. Instead of you to emulate that, you are on the street asking for demonstration. What is your role?
Penny amotini nkan ayem na shebejani ana abaya ne monsini mom e won kwantanan onumnyamfo owura yiri Jennifer dede ajaben
Yenkwo yanim ewo Kaseibo no emo na wo kire wadwen 0594 841044 kire wadwen na yebeken kan di amount social media na so ahenkan 93.3 FM FM no aye capital letters na say no ye wo Ghana waves so enti wo search ahenkan 93.3 FM ewo Ghana waves so a ube yen na bibia de dem na wutie ye left and right benkum ni fasa na yakuyanim yanto Kaseibo no so ade ambu ni kom say pon na ye ebu ni kom ewo apomodin ansem lecturer ba kwa wo kwa University of Ghana Legon University of Ghana Legon no ono na department ya to ni di Department of Psychiatry ono na ya pani a wo kira de e wo sa department no so na ni di the doctor said asafo na ora set asafo e de atodwa wo kire se empe bebre no ya na kwafo bi da kwafo fom no mo sere ne twetwe no adan a asumasi anya adwimu haw na so na adwimu ka no omo number ene ye ni a akwa omo number o hwe de so ne pa osisa de na ha adwe papa twetwe ya bata saade ne ho no e wo se yiyi fifiri horom na bibia so kɔ nanim ase ebra so se nkwada totofe wan kwada nketenkete no awofom wo mani kom ho ye papa pesan se enipa bebre no a na nkwada bebre no a ena wo adwuni mu haw na so sanse yanhye dan pay attention yanhye dan te ani hwɛ wo munti no awofo ne bebre wo mu hunto mbehu no na agye wo mu nsɛm afei na de na ye bom na aye bum no apɛ opa ne ho ntoma no wo bre no ho no yese wo se sa woni akwada tene nkwada bre no mu a hwa ne nkwamodiem hwa ne dressing mu hwa ne oma bia wo ye na de yo mu anu na betimi awofo no betimi ahunu sa so masimi beya okura mi ebia onya wa adwene mu ha osesa adwene no ye nhya dan fanko ho enu nti wo sra da sa awofo no bebre no abehwe sa adwene mu yade na kora bu no ye na de ketekete a obetimi ha sa na ya agbafa ne so ya agbafa na dwim enti sa ne oma ketekete nyina no awofo betimi a check se ne beya adwene mu yade ya gentle ha ya tia sete wa manga na nchori ne ntwa asem no ebetimi abre ase.
Education on mental health is something that is gaining ground, especially in Ghana. What we notice, or in any government, now if you read many of these books on parenting and development, you might come across noticing these kinds of things. I normally like to stress on the role that the churches play, and it's one angle. So we're getting more people among the clergy who are taking courses in lay counseling, being able to identify pathologies, etc. And all these are very important because you can't solve a problem if you haven't identified it. So at this point, we're all more leaning towards being able to identify and referring to the appropriate. So if you look at that, let's look at how it will translate into people being able to actually, first of all, identify, do trainings, and then go ahead to stage interventions and all of that. Now, we don't have much data on the people who are experiencing different pathologies in our part of the world, of course. And many researchers are tying the knot to bring these things together. And I guess that's one thing we need to do. I mean, from a research background, it's one of the most important things we need to do because data basically drives policy and it also drives interventions. So we should be able to form or be able to have enough funding to do more research, to identify the presentations, and then also for us to also devise what we call customized therapies. Because the kind of intervention, we believe that not every therapy from the West will work. So we are looking at understanding these conditions from a Ghanaian cultural perspective. And what it also means is how do we go about staging interventions for this? And all these are tied back to the research.
Lecturer. Ya Wachadia University of Ghana Department of Psychiatry, Dr. Seth Asafo, Enayatene Kano.
Askokom, Ahenkan FM Senior High Cooking Competition. Edianwa, na yemeno jollof. Yemeno brofo aduane bia, yebe Ghana nnuane. Yebe ye apapransa, fufuo ene abunabunu, kontomre face the wall. Kokunte nmense adane de wall babesia. Oje ya no akufesi na I face the wall na na ose no school sa Asia kan ewo ye cooking competition mu eye Atwaman Senior High School ewo Achimmanso Odan Senior High School Odan School Atefa Senior High Technical School Aztec Vision Vocational and Technical Training Institute eno so Achim Aboabo Salvation Army Senior High School Etwanity Afen Sasek ewo Achim Wanchi Kwame UG School Achiasi Senior High School eye Achisek eno so Achiasi and a youth in leadership and skill training and also under National Youth Authority ewo Achim Takrasi akwada fiti primary JHS SS de hianso betumi atwere ana obetumi akan ana why ready so besia bibi okwo ho beteto simple when school esi akan na eba so ehine mebosome ne da etoso aduasan ya 30th ya ena dwumadi no ba so Achim Aboabo de backgrounds anopa no nsia kosi anwumre no nsia kai national say anyamtufo akukuda mu baby deputy education minister baby empenfo robbery MCs ni DCs ni MPs wonu na potem ya de bia baby ntia no akan no ahye ne so na nso abebo ni akoma me say wanya hwe kura na aduano mu no awi a obenya bia di bicycle ne mfa so any free tia no akan no ahye ne so dwumadi a eba so kasie sei se wopese anyambia onuama beto so ana wade tonde eba so ne bon de roma wa 0244-878763 0244-878763 na yano won kasa ebe to ade am kama na onso anya mfa so ewum yamfo manfo adwen kire ba ko mienu emra na afi ye nto aso we se me pacho Ghana mpinfo lesbian any gay any homosexuality ho no se nyame bon musuo pa na mugituma mo betimo kakanka Osinya kupon tikura we abomination timama nwene hompo ye boa Samuel edifri KKB ana akokobin ene bai ye dase we nsu busa se ho na ye MC wa Achim dance sia yi me pacho MC wa Achim dance sia ya Ghana mradia dance trudo sampa ono ne MC eye odumnyamfo Victoria Edu ono ene Achim dan MC sia yi we ne say mo bo adwuma nwumre pa nyame nhira mo papa nyame nhira mo pa na o say Ghana card no ni bio into bed no asa register ne sem no eno asem 7 na Sam George kase emna ne makwan se Ghana card nko a card bia betum dia ye blessing edifree Akim Amakrum ye chia papa when you say Ghana president you are the power of everything. I beg, what are you doing about the lesbian, gay, homosexual? And please do something. It's taboo. You know enemy say taboo. Osina na do ye bibi na we nyamempe. Bible aka ompe ye boa Samuel eno no ye dase anwumre. When you say hello, good evening. Me din wan fan ani din wa say. Osi me din ede kojo ansa. Osi oche pa anwumre ya bo adwuma. Ye bo adwuma papa. Ye champions. Also ye champion. Ma yensi ase ni enko Facebook me.
Yenko Facebook na we se ni din ade chief. Faila haya asem waka ina wasre no say good news ni jejana so pa style bia bi na when so ni din at the Dr. Downblow asem waka nya ne say e wasa Ghana fo gina ka ba chirim na LGBTQ 210 for na sab no ye broskoto ne to baby bo ne gala we say hunti no ba fefefe kwa wale nyanko ba brother be sempe di Eddie Brand Junior so dia wada se tender strike wo bia mrahye badwani bi obeka son de obeye ne ho ayi chameleon ono onam ha hu ne bobre hu ne hyebre wa LGBT asem say mo beye kokwasa no tender strike wo so na mo nyina mo kambom na mo ye nyamran title na LGBT di ya said enti bo hye ba miss say Ghana fo bi person ya na mo twe asam to adeshoboy so se ne adeshoboy pese LGBT de kwaso Ghana o se adeshoboy aka dada se nya de LGBT de be kwaso ono na breso eti mo amo keka kasa no mo manu nra mo so se Ghana ya adwuma pa Ghana sisi asumdue enioma kwaso wura security better economic planning. Yes, management kwaso papa nti Akufo-Addo president obadwuma oni na bedi eche Dr. Alhaji Mahmudu Baumia teacher kwajotepa so dia wode abeni o say incoming ahafo ano North NPP youth organizer. Okay, na asemu akatwa so ni o say ebraso say gay lesbobo kafribomski no ya tutune baby kura dia ma asem kura ni ya Ghana sisi ya dwune kwa ya befa so Ghana be ko nanim mo so la mo de LGBT o se we no e wo se mra se badwafiefo no ani kwa so mtwetwom na se ya titile ya twom na se te kwa afo mo koto nwom o mo nya ne tentem no mo pam no nto baabi Evans so dia wode abeni o se wodi frobo ase o se our leaders no o mo nya ne tentem kofa show na anti LGBTQ+ bill no am pass in time de be no mo twen e de be bie bo mo so am so ene ye professors ye de nyansa nyina ene anim ebrofo akase atele no mo keka mo nya ne time na mo pass bill no na wadi Edward dia wadi was good evening me hwa mo live ewa achem ayire bi amam from enti amam faje nchire Facebook dia media si
ye producers anwumre yi eye amasafo a one nanadwa oben Kwame Asante ene na chitai for Ohinaba Mike omo na de ko Facebook live ene YouTube yedema sanyumri akenka for ye me kwaku anin kusi bodum aka Mia Omene
Efia ampofoa Kaseibo 6pm yesi ya chiamope Yamamumo